Welcome back to the Tennessee Valley this morning as Ron and Sandy carry on their own
We're having a conversation
over
here,
on the
Dan.
left. We're so glad that you joined. I'll talk to you, okay? They're just
More,
doing.
us Moors hang together.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Welcome back to the Tennessee Valley this morning. It's like old home week here on the show this morning, and good to see Ron back. And before we find out what's going on locally with local history, I want to say it's a pleasure to have Kim Palo in today. Joe's usually here, but Kim gave Joe a day off.
It's a lot more enjoyable when Kim is here instead of Joe.
Well, and you know, the thing about Kim is she always brings me usually a cinnamon biscuit or something from one of the fast food places, and it's so good. And when Joe's here, just coffee. That's all you get. You're lucky if you get coffee.
You're lucky if you get coffee.
Yeah,
that's right.
but, so we're really glad that Kim Palo's here today. And also glad that Ron Moore's back. He comes in every Wednesday to share some tidbit about local history, and it's always interesting. And it must be a subject you're familiar with today because you didn't even bring any notes.
Well, I forgot to write them. No, it is a subject that I'm familiar with, and it's the north end of Bradley County, one of the early settlements in the area, Charleston, there is having their big celebration coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
They're having the Cowpea Festival. I learned that this was the cowpea capital of the United States at one time. And cowpeas are, black-eyed peas, crowder peas, and things of that nature. And what they did, they grew them literally as crops for their feed crops for the animals.
Oh.
During the Civil War, it got tough to find food, and someone finally said, well, we'll throw a little fat back in here with this, and
see how it tastes.
and of course black-eyed peas became a bigger product here in the South.
I love black-eyed peas.
So, but that's one of those things that they're going to have a cowpea cooking contest this weekend.
They call them cow peas instead of black-eyed peas. I did not know this. You've learned me something already.
So you learn. Well, I had to learn that too, and I go, what in the heck is a cowpea?
Yeah.
So I had to go find out. So basically, it was originally just a feed crop, but it eventually became food.
Kind of like soybeans, I guess.
Yes. So but the big thing that I want to talk about today is the 100th year of Charleston High School. In 1911,
Oh, yeah.
Charleston became the first public high school in Bradley County. If you remember, well, in those early days.
I remember well. See what I put up with, Sandy?
Yes.
A lot of times the high schools were academies,
Uh-huh.
and you actually went and lived there in a lot of cases. You went and lived in high school, and they were not public schools. So we had sort of high schools around, but Charleston became Bradley County's very first public high school. Now, we all know where it's located today. That's not where it started at.
No.
No. If you'll go across the street, and where the road splits and goes down where the old Stuckey's is, a lot of people will know that from years have passed. It was across the street literally from where it is today.
Oh.
And North Lee Highway was not there.
Yeah.
It was the old concrete highway that we just put on the historical register behind it. Well, that was where that was. It burned a couple of times. And then when they built the new highway, they moved it across the street to where we know the high school today.
Okay, and it's evolved through the years.
So it has changed, and it changed in its appearance quite. It was a big wooden structure at one time. And they did have some people who actually stayed there, sort of like an academy. That was the sort of the idea when the high school was the big education.
I see.
At the end, when you went off to college, that was really, really big time.
Yeah.
But going through high school, then you remember we didn't have state laws that mandated that you go to school. All those laws changed and kept saying, even today I think it's even tougher to get out of high school. If you leave high school early these days, you can't get your driver's license. There's a lot of tough laws in the state. Well, that wasn't true then. And in public education, and I hate to call this, but public education is a social program, or some people call it socialism, and I get a little frustrated when they use that word because our roads are social programs, our schools, our law enforcement, our armies and things. So I'm not afraid to use the word socialism, but that was the true first social type school, and it was interesting. The communities Charleston and Calhoun didn't get along real well back in those days either.
In different counties.
Well, yes, different counties, and the river divided them, and they were different people. So the boys used to get the eggs, and they'd stand at the river and throw eggs at each other across there. Now, they never were.
Some things never change.
They never were evil at each other, but there was a little rivalry there. And a big place come in called Bowaters, and sort of they forgot about being mad at each other then.
Because they all needed a job.
Yeah, the jobs, and it was all great there. Great stories, great people from our community graduated from that school there. We heard a story about a guy who, back in the 50s, and I won't mention your name, Jim, they took a tire and ran it up the flagpole, and they set it on fire.
Oh, that took some doing.
It sort of bent the flagpole and everything like that. And the gentleman who told me the story said that he had to help pay for it, but he said somebody else did it. And I never understood how you have to pay for it when someone else did it. And then they used to burn tires on the bridge, the old bridge up there, and this guy said and he helped pay for it.
Of course, that's not the first time that bridge was burned.
Yes, but it was much earlier there, and the Civil War. So Charleston has, it's had the Wild River. It's 51 years this week when the movie was released, and they're going to show the documentary to the public this Thursday down at the museum about Wild River.
Oh, tomorrow night?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow night?
Yes, so
I didn't know that.
It's I think it's at 7 o'clock. It's free to the public, so that's first time it's going to be showed to the public. So and it was started last year, and I think the Life Care helped produce that.
They did.
So that's going to be a great project. The Cherokee Indians, the Civil War. Charleston has been a very important part of our community for a long time, and we forget to mention that too. And I always like to say is that Charleston is probably the most historical place in America that nobody talks about.
You're probably right. And I'm glad to see a resurgence of interest in promoting Charleston. And they've got a historical group.
Yes, the Charleston Calhoun Hiawassee Historical Society.
They're working very closely with, I know, with Melissa Woody at the Chamber of Commerce and the Tourism Department, and they're working to get the word out, and they're really doing some good things because they have a rich history. Just like the rest of Bradley County, a lot of it is focused in Charleston. So well, it's time that we got the word out, don't you think?
Fort Cass was there, the removal of the Cherokee Indians. 17,000 Indians went through Charleston.
And the Henniger House.
The Henniger House. The railroad, the bridges. There was a lot went on there. There's not even a historical marker anywhere in Charleston.
Yeah, what a shame.
Now, one time there was Fort Cass marker. It's gone. Rattlesnake Springs, it's gone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of historical markers that have just disappeared over the years. They either fall down, road projects come along, guys with bulldozers just bulldoze them down, and it's unfortunate. So, but go this Saturday up there. They're going to be showing Wild River, the movie up there. They'll show the documentary. They got Cowpea Festival. They got, it's a lot of things going on. Check with the chamber, and they can tell you what times they are. And they're also having a sock hop on Saturday night at the Charleston High School.
That'll bring back some memories.
Those days
that'd be great.
In 58, the high school burned again.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it burned part of the old part, and not the new part. When the new part survived, and Bradley County was very wise. It took them $250,000 to rebuild it, and had it insured for $100,000. Government at work.
Your tax dollars.
So that's my stories about Charleston High School, and you'll learn a lot more this weekend if you'll go up to.
And what times it start?
It's Friday night and Saturday, and the start times. And at Charleston, they're going to have a lot of old jerseys and pictures and things.
From
so
the football
people
team.
People who went there. Keith Beatty was the football coach up there for a long time. And that's probably why they closed the school, though.
It could be.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. But that school has gone through such an evolution, high school, academy, you said, and then a high school, and now it's a middle school, elementary.
Elementary school.
Elementary school. Right. But the building is still there.
Yes.
And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's a highly rated elementary, too.
Yes, it is. It does
and then the high school moved out, and it's now called Walker Valley.
Yeah, now that's some rub to some of those old Charleston folks.
Yeah, they
thought that ought to have been called Charleston High School. But, they lost that battle. But, Charleston was a great memory there. And Richard Roberts from the Banner is in the history books at Charleston High School for his sports.
What about that?
Of course, the people in Charleston called him Ricky.
Ricky.
Everybody would hate to hear that. But he scored 2 points in the game that's his total
Claim to fame.
Claim, yes. So,
And so from there, he makes the leap to sports reporter for
Right.
the Banner. 2 points.
because he got to sit and watch a lot of it.
I see. So he's an expert.
He's
He
expert.
watched
He didn't get to play much,
Bench
but he
warmer, right.
actually scored 2 points in his 4-year
That's
career.
incredible.
So thought I'd pass that on for you.
That's good. But you know, this would be the opportune time to really ask people in the community if you have any historical documents, pictures, whatever, from that era in Charleston to bring it to the festival. I'm
Great
sure
idea.
There'll be
Oh,
an
yeah.
organization there that will
If you
take
have
it.
any pictures of any history, bring it here to Cleveland State. They have a digital library now that you can see online, and they love to have pictures. If you bring them in, usually they'll copy them and scan them right on the spot and take them back. So anything, you'd be surprised what's history. You know, 40 years ago, is history.
Oh, yeah.
20 years ago is now history, and those
It is.
pictures are going to lay in people's houses. And we lost a lot of history during our tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yes, we
A lot
did.
of-
did.
A lot of it. So if you're out and you find old pictures, pick them up and take them, bring them to someplace, Cleveland State.
And they have the chair of their history department is also
Ron Reed.
yeah, he's the local historian
Yes.
for Bradley County, I believe, working again closely with the folks in Charleston. And I think he is deeply involved in this celebration, centennial celebration.
He's on the committee, and I know Melissa
Of the
Woody, my
Civil
wife's
War.
on the committee, and there's a whole group. I
Yeah.
can't tell you who all of them are.
Yeah, so
You know, and they're on the move to make the Fort Hill Cemetery on the National Register of Historical Places.
Yeah.
And the first pass of the application has passed,
good.
but a lot more to go.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's a lot of hoops to jump through on that. It's always interesting when Ron Moore comes in. We learn stuff that we didn't know, and I learned stuff today. Did you learn anything?
A lot.
you
I
see,
did. I'm
he's just-
looking forward to this weekend.
He's just
I told her I can say anything because everyone who I talk about is already dead, and they can't.
they can't refute it. They
Yeah,
can't
right.
refute it.
Except Tom Rowland. Tom Rowland is still,
Yeah.
the oldest gentleman in Cleveland, and we get a lot of information from him.
You'll hear from him
He'll
on
be
that
calling
one.
I'm
soon.
sure he will.
Yes.
Yeah, Ron is just a depository of just a bunch of trivial information, and it's interesting. It really is interesting, and I enjoy sharing that with our viewing audience every Wednesday morning. We'll see you again next Wednesday.
No, I won't be here next Wednesday.
Oh, you
But
won't?
We'll get someone to fill in.
You're
I'll-
taking a
I'll
vacation?
be out of town.
Okay, it's a secret. You're going on a
Yeah.
secret mission.
That's
Okay,
right.
well, we'll have
Secret
somebody.
history mission.
We'll have a secret history mission. Ah, see, so
sounds
you'll have to
even
tune in
better.
2 weeks from today to find what kind of mission he's been on. Well, that'll be fun. See who you're going to send in to sit in your place and find out what they have to say. But it's always fun when Ron comes in and shares with us. We have to take a break. It's 7 o'clock and 61. What did I say? 61. I meant 71. I wish it were 61 degrees. 71 degrees. You're watching the Tennessee Valley this morning. We'll be back and meet our pet of the week in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Volunteer Ridipest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ridipest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ridipest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Tennessee Valley this morning. Welcome back to the Tennessee Valley this morning. Thanks to Ron Moore for coming in and sharing the information about the history of the old Charleston High School, which is now evolved into Walker Valley, and Charleston building is now Charleston Elementary. It is 7:02 and 71 degrees this morning. I want to tell you about some headline news. First of all, I want to tell you that they're still in need of volunteers, just individual volunteers for the distribution center for the long-term recovery effort from the storms. A lot of people say they'd like to volunteer, but they're concerned about so much manual labor. There's all kinds of things you can do if you're not physically able to go out and chop down trees and clear brush and things like that. There's everything from data entry to making phone calls to organizing certain efforts, helping clients. They even mentioned yesterday in our briefing that personal shopper. You could be a personal shopper for one of the storm victims or some of the storm victims, help them get some of the things that they need in their recovery efforts. So there's all kinds of things that volunteers can do, not just physical labor, manual labor. And if you'd like to volunteer, call 478-0013, 478-0013. EMA Director Troy Spence says the Disaster Recovery Center located on the campus of Cleveland State Community College will be closed at the end of the business day on Friday. However, the main DRC site at Church Street, that's number 10 Church Street on the corner of Inman, will be open Monday through Saturdays from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. until it's no longer needed. They're currently processing about 25 applications a day, and heard a report yesterday about, I think they had processed about 10 applications yesterday that were brand new. People had never been in. Well, you can't get help from FEMA if you don't go in and register, so please do that. If you're wondering if you should go in or should not go in and find out. It doesn't take long, and you can register online at disasterassistance.gov. You can do that first and then go into the FEMA office there on Church Street and see if you can get some assistance in your recovery effort. The distribution center on Barney Lane is currently in need of industrial-sized fans to cool the warehouse, to keep their volunteers cool. Supplies such as pots and pans, linens, towels, insect repellent, hand sanitizer, all of those types of things are needed, as well as children's items, diapers, those things. If you can help with this need, contact the center by calling 478-0013. And once again, we emphasize that they do not need any more clothes donated at this time. They have more than they need, and they're overflowing with clothes. But we appreciate the effort that people are making to take care of our disaster victims. Catholic Charities will be at the distribution center on Thursday. That's June the 2nd, tomorrow, from 10 until 1:30, offering utility assistance and Walmart gift cards to storm victims. Those needing assistance must visit the distribution center before Thursday anytime to pick up a referral card, and the distribution center located on Barney Lane, there on 20th, at the corner of 20th and Michigan Avenue. It's easy to find. There's a big sign. Go there anytime between 9 and 6 and get your referral card, and then visit the Catholic Charities with your appointment on Thursday. The Department of Human Services reports 1,143 Bradley County families were assisted with food stamps during the disaster period. 377 of those were brand new households at a cost of more than $331,700. Still a lot of folks needing assistance, a lot of folks needing help, and volunteers are certainly needed. If you can volunteer in any way, if you can do data entry, if you can do manual labor, whatever you can do, just call that number, 478-0013, and they'll find something for you to do. Let's check out our forecast and see what it's going to be today. It's going to be hot, I can tell you that. It's already hot, Sandy.
It is. It is. Thank goodness there's fans in here. But
Yes. It's going to be 96, probably set another record, set one yesterday. The original record was set back in the 1950s, going to be at least 96 today, 95 tomorrow, 94 on Friday, so it's going to be a hot throughout the rest of the week, and no rain in the forecast. Right now it's 71 degrees, and we need some rain.
We need rain.
We do need rain. Speaking of the recovery, Kathy's here, by the way, as you can see, and she's got a little pet with her, and always good to see you.
Thank you.
And before we go, though, to Kathy and talk about the pet of the week, you brought this newspaper on. Tell us what this is about.
This is the special edition that has been basically donated, the printing and the paper, and this is available. This is the tornado or the disaster edition, and it's available at United Way and a whole list of banks in the area.
Most all the banks, I believe.
They're asking for $1 for it, but if you want to contribute more, you certainly can. And it's to all the money that is raised from this goes back into the disaster fund.
Yeah, and these are available. I picked up 2 or 3 copies yesterday, and these were not in your normal, what you call the normal circulation.
Right.
These are for special purchase only, and it's an edition of the banner that's just about the storm. That's all it's about, and stories and pictures and all about the first 30 days, and it's a great keepsake.
It is.
And 30 years from now, we'll look back if we have another storm and compare and say, wow, it was bad back then too. But it's a great keepsake. So pick them up at any bank, I think, in town or United Way.
Right.
$1 a piece, and keep that for the kids to look at when you're long gone. All the money goes to the disaster relief effort. So that's a good thing. I enjoyed reading that myself. Well, Kathy's here from PALS. And you have another little pal with you today.
I do.
You know, we're on a run with the kittens. I think the last 3 weeks. This is the 3rd week, I
Last
believe.
week I had Cooper.
That's right, you did have
corgi,
Cooper.
but
I forgot about
The week before
Cooper.
that, I had 2 weeks ago, I had 1 kitten. And 3 weeks ago, I had the mama and the babies that were found underneath a shed on
they were
Blue
storm
Springs Road.
victims. Right.
This little guy was found yesterday on Eads Bluff.
Oh, that's out by my house.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was found out on Eads Bluff.
Yeah, the connection.
Yes.
I don't know if my little puppy Dublin would want a companion or not.
He was pretty dehydrated. It's way too hot for them to just be outside without any kind of cover. We've given him some Pedialyte to kind of, you know, build him back up. He is eating food.
And he's active?
He's very active.
Getting active.
He needs to gain a little bit of weight. And he's too young to do an actual flea treatment, so what we did was I put the actual medication in my hands and rubbed it on him.
Oh, I see.
Because he's really too young to put an entire vial on him. And cats, especially when we spray with flea spray, have a tendency to foam at the mouth and look like they're really in dire shape because they don't like it. This little guy is just, and he's my Lila Jane, who Sue Little raised, bottle fed 12 years ago, and she's my Lila Jane, just thinks that this is her new baby.
Oh.
So she's following him around everywhere.
Well, now you had one a week or so ago that you were bottle feeding, and I think you got attached to it, and you found a home for it. One of our viewers decided they wanted it, and you had a hard time.
Oh, I had a terrible time, yes. Her new name is Penelope.
Penelope.
And I was on my way home from the show, and someone called my cell phone. Her name was Anita Graham, and she had just lost her 15-year-old cat, and said, when you get ready to give up that kitten, I would like to have first choice. I went over to the lady's house later in the day, and it just... So I gave my baby up long before I was ready to give her up.
It was a good match.
It was absolutely perfect.
That's good.
It just worked.
That's good when those situations happen. And our viewers have been so good about helping us find homes for the animals that you bring on the show, you and Julie. We've been doing this since mid-October, I guess. And we've had a pet or pets, sometimes six or seven.
Multiples, yes.
Every Wednesday, and our viewers have really stepped up and have helped us find homes for these animals.
Every pet that I have brought that has been to an adoption, now we have 3 that haven't been to adoptions just because of our adoption schedule, but every one that I have had at an adoption has been placed.
That's great. Now, there are some guidelines that you have for people who want to adopt a pet.
Yes.
Explain what those guidelines are.
Okay. If they're renting, they have to have permission from a landlord. If they're living with family members, they have to have permission from family members. We don't recommend that if you have small children that you take a very tiny kitten,
Right.
although some very young children have been around animals and they do okay.
They do okay.
But we do have an interview process, and they have a form that they have to fill out. And we try and make sure someone isn't just walking up and saying, oh, what a cute baby, I want it. You have to realize what the commitment is. For instance, with the corgi that I had last week, are you willing to brush twice a day? Are you willing to walk twice a day? And this doesn't mean a little 5-minute walk. This means an intense walk.
Yeah.
You know, what are you willing to do? Do you have the means to provide the care? Because it costs right around, the first year of an animal's life can cost you about $1,000
Oh, really?
with your veterinary care and
Yeah.
your food and all those things.
So it is a commitment. But
It is an extreme
what,
commitment.
What a lot of companionship they provide.
You know, and are you willing to make a commitment for 15 to 20 years?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that's, you know, it takes a long time, even some of
does.
our breeds that don't live quite as long.
Thinking
Yeah.
back, my dog, my pet is 15, a little over 15.
Yes.
So it is, and it evolves into a long-term companionship thing, and they become a part of the family.
It
And then
is.
what about the adoption fees, Kathy?
On every pet of the week that we bring in, we have a very nice lady. Her name is Marcy Rivera, and she lives in Nyota. And every Pal's Pet of the Week that comes on this show, the adoption fee has been paid.
Already paid. Thanks.
So
to
normally the
wonderful
adoption
group.
fee is $35. Unless they've been spayed or neutered, then the adoption fee is $60, and that's, you know, that's very reasonable. You can't have it done for that. But she has been, that was her contribution, was she is sponsoring the Pet of the
Oh,
Week.
that's wonderful, wonderful.
So,
Do you see an uptick in pets now because of the storm?
we took in, just with our little group, took in 57 animals.
Wow.
47 have gone back to owners.
Great.
And
That's
some we
great.
know are not, you know, we know that they were strays at the time, or we don't know where the owners have been. And so 6 out of those 10 have already been placed in homes. So, but I was talking yesterday, I went to the Unmet Needs Committee meeting at the chamber, and I was talking to someone, and we have some horses that are running loose. So today another one of our members and I are going to go out and see if we can
Round
get some
up
horses.
horses.
Going to the roundup.
Yeah.
We're going to the roundup. We have rounded up chickens.
Oh,
We-
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're a busy lady.
Well, and I'm a couple days a week at the distribution center. But you know, there's a poem that I learned a long time ago that said, "I'm only one, but yet I'm one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something."
Right.
And you know, part of the jobs that I've been doing, I actually at the distribution center, I've been sorting clothes. I can sit and sort clothes, so someone
Yeah.
doesn't have to be able to stand on their feet for
Right.
a long
Right.
amount of time.
Well, that's a,
And assisting the people that come in, helping them shop and get their extra items and all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
a great a great effort, and we appreciate what you do with the animals. And it looks like that one is just so content. He's gone to sleep.
Yes,
Well,
he's-
you woke him
yeah.
up.
I woke him up. Yes, did I wake you up? Yeah.
Have you named that one yet?
No.
Oh, you're afraid to. You get attached to it if you do.
Yes. Usually my husband is the one that comes up with names for them. Something will just,
Click.
it just happens.
Well, if
How
you're
sweet.
interested in possibly having this little fella come to your house and have a permanent home there, you can contact Pals and tell us the phone number, Kathy.
284-3104.
284-3104.
And he will be at Petco on Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Petco on Saturday.
Yes, we
That
have an
is
adoption
great.
event this weekend.
Well, that is great. It's always good to see you. Thanks for bringing
Thank
the pets
you.
by.
We appreciate this
And,
opportunity.
We hope that we're able to find this little fella a home.
I don't think it would be that
You
difficult.
don't think so,
to-
Sandy?
No, no.
No,
And
He's
if
a-
he doesn't leave before long, I maybe take it home with
You
me.
need him out on the river. He
Yeah,
might grow into a
yeah.
little mouser. You never know.
If he was a tad larger, I'm not sure my golden would realize it's a kitty instead of a bunny rabbit. So.
Yes, Goldens have a tendency to to play rough with
Yes, they do.
cats. Not to be mean, they just
No,
play
they just
rough.
like to play.
One of my little, what we call show kitties that just showed up at the house, brought me a 3-foot snake Saturday.
Oh.
I said, thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. That's a pet I don't want.
Yeah.
Well, we have to take a break at 7:17. Thanks again to Kathy for coming by from Pals. And if you're interested in this little fella going home with you, give him a call or drop by Petco on Saturday. It's 71 degrees. We'll be back in just a moment with more on the Tennessee Valley this morning.
I'm Byron Winters with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Contact me for all of your business insurance needs. From general liability to workers' comp, commercial auto, and business umbrellas, Landmark Insurance has you covered.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television. Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Volunteer Ridipest LLC has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding areas for over 40 years. Their qualified, experienced technicians are trained in all the latest techniques to keep your home pest-free. Volunteer Ridipest LLC offers Mosquito Guard, which keeps mosquitoes out of your yard and out of your life. Their monthly and quarterly treatments are backed by their 100% money-back guarantee. For all your pest removal needs, call Volunteer Ridipest LLC today at 423-472-7736.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
And you're welcome back to the Tennessee Valley this morning. We are here, and I'm here with the phone going crazy, and Sandy Moore, who's doing just fine. And trying to get a hold of Rick over at the Cleveland Daily Banner, but he apparently is unavailable at this time.
Must be writing a hot story.
He must be, or having coffee and donuts somewhere, probably. I don't know. But thanks to Kathy for coming in from Pals.
They do a fantastic job.
Don't they?
They really do.
They really care for those animals, and they have done a great job during this storm of helping so many pets who lost their homes. A lot of pets lost their homes too, in addition to the humans who lost their homes.
And not only being able to reconnect families and their pets, but then finding homes for those other ones.
Yeah.
I think one of the most fascinating things that I have heard is in this community and the surrounding communities, many of the animal shelters are sending animals out to other counties. They're being requested to send to New York State or Illinois or Michigan or something because there's a need for animals for adoption up there. And so, you know, when ours get a little full, they have a list they send out.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's really fascinating
that
there's a lot of this interaction
that?
going on. So we don't have so much euthanasia of animals.
They're, of course, Pals is a no-kill center, and they really take care of those animals. And you heard her say that she's going out on a horse roundup this morning. It don't matter if it's a cat or a dog or a horse or a chicken. I mean, they're going to go take care of it, and they really do a great job, and it's something they really take to heart. And it's good that we have Pals.
It is.
Here.
It really is.
And if you want to consider having that little kitty come to your house, you can name it. She hadn't named it yet. She normally names them, but she hasn't named that one yet.
I think she's a little concerned she's going to get real attached to that one.
She really does that. Yeah. So go call Pals or go by Petco on this Saturday and take a look at it and play with it for a while. Sandy, of course, is the director of the Ocoee Region of Junior Achievement. And we've talked about JA before here, but you've always got a lot going on.
We do. We do.
Tell us about JA.
We have just finished up the school year, and you think you could take a breather, but there is never a breather.
You're always planning for the next
right.
semester.
And especially since school starts so early again this year, the first part of August. We right now are wrapping up, getting ready for our audit, planning our fall events, our Elvis concert, our Monster Ball.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask you about the Elvis concert. That's a very popular event. Let's talk about that for just a minute. It
amazed me. It really amazed me last year. We had people from Florida, we had people from New York, we had people from Michigan call in and get tickets and come down. We had over 500 to 600 people there at the auditorium for the event.
That's amazing.
And it was probably the most wonderful event I've attended. The young man, Travis, is just delightful. He and his family were there. Very clean cut, very nice young man. Does a super job. And this is not the fat Elvis.
This is the young Elvis.
This is the young Elvis.
See, that's the one I like.
Elvis of the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
And put on a wonderful show. A lot of audience participation, that kind of thing. So when the concert was over, we had several people say, will you bring him back? Will you bring him back? And we've had calls over the period of time, and I contacted his manager again, and we were able to work out a situation.
Good.
So we are bringing him back
Coming
on September the 15th at Conn Center.
At the Conn Center,
yeah,
so you're going to have a crowd.
We are back at the Conn Center again.
Wow.
And we will start having announcements about ticket sales before long. I think this year we're going to try to do some reserve seating as well.
Oh, good.
Tickets for adults will be $20, students $10. Haven't made our mind up about reserve seating yet because I'm trying to work out something with the manager. So we'll see if that pans out or not.
Sounds like it's going to be a great show. Of course, all the proceeds benefit
Junior Achievement, most definitely. And if we do as well as we did last year, and I probably shouldn't say this because I really haven't talked to my board about it yet, I would love to see part of the proceeds go to the disaster relief fund.
That would be fantastic.
So I'm hoping we might be able to do something in that regard.
So many people are stepping up to the plate on the disaster relief, and I know Life Care, of course, put on the big benefit concert. They raised over $40,000 just at that concert. I think that fund now has close to $300,000 in it. It's just incredible how it's growing. People really are stepping up, and if you want to contribute, I want to mention that website. It's bradleydisasterrelief.org. It's that simple.
Right.
And there's a PayPal account on there. You can click on it and donate right online without ever leaving your home. And it's just really easy, and the money stays in Bradley County. It goes to the storm victims. 100% of it goes to the storm victims or the relief agencies such as the Red Cross and Salvation Army, who are doing a yeoman's job of taking care of our storm victims. They really are.
And you know, I said this is a long-term recovery,
It
which
is.
obviously is not going to be over in 6 months' time or a year's time. But somewhere along the line, I have this feeling that once people are over the shock and start getting their feet on the ground, they're going to need some money management techniques. They're going to need some help with budgeting, with making do with what they have, knowing what some of their options are. And I'm hoping Junior Achievement is going to be able to step out of the box and do some things for that, whether it's some short-term little seminars we put on, go out to those areas and do that. But this is sort of a dream I have to see us be able to really move out and help in the community.
That's a great idea because you're already doing that same thing for the schools and doing it for the students. So.
And it's critical for the students because they're going to be our community leaders. They've got to understand. But I'm hoping we'll be able to do something for the adults too.
So that concert's coming up on the 15th of September.
Right.
And then, of course, you've got the regular curriculum that you're always working on with new students as they come up?
Volunteers are needed desperately to start teaching the beginning of the school year, so they can contact Junior Achievement if they'd like to volunteer.
Yeah. Every nonprofit needs volunteers. It's just a given.
It is. It is a given. And you'd be surprised how many volunteers are from one, you know, they're in several organizations volunteering. We have a total of, I think, about 250 volunteers that taught our classes last year.
Oh.
We reached over 6,500 students.
That's amazing.
And it's exciting. It really is exciting.
Yeah. And wow, what a gift that is for those kids too. School has changed a lot since I was in school, and we didn't have the benefit of just simple things like learning how to balance a checkbook. And,
I wish I had. My husband wishes I had, believe me.
These are essential skills
they
nowadays. And these students getting so much more what I call real life experience education in today's educational system than they did when I was in school. So it's a great thing you guys are doing.
Well, thank you.
Really is.
I think the greatest thing to me to see is, number one, the bond that's built between the business person and that student in the classroom, because you really have no idea what kind of an impact you make on these kids until you run into them 2 or 3 years later. But the second thing also is we are showing the application of why it's important to understand and do math, why it's important to be able to communicate. And, you know, kids say, well, I'm not going to need algebra when I get out of school. I'm not going to need geometry.
Oh, yeah.
These are the are the skills. I did too, but these are the skills you use in real life.
Yeah, why do I need to learn to write an essay? Well,
Right.
It's about all I do these days is write news stories and all kinds of things. It's amazing. It's been a joy having you with us today.
Thank you, Dan.
Sandy.
It's been a joy being here.
Got about a minute left, and we look forward to having you come back and being the co-host again. I know it's a little drive in for you from the river.
I don't care. I love it.
Oh, good.
I love it. It's
well,
great.
You get up early.
Cleveland is just, you know, it's in my heart.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And
well, I understand that. As we leave, I want to remind you that volunteers are needed at the distribution center. We've got about 30 seconds left, but you can volunteer. You can do anything from manual labor to data entry.
Right.
Just make phone calls. You can sort through the clothing like Kathy said she was doing. You can even become a personal shopper for some of the storm victims, maybe some of the elderly who need to replenish their household items and can't get out or have no means of transportation. They're personal shopper opportunities for volunteers. So become one of those volunteers and help us in the recovery effort, and we'll get back on our feet. We're a long way down the road.
We are.
We're making great progress, and I'll tell you maybe more about that next week, just how far we've come with comparison to some of the other areas, but we're doing good. We're doing good.
We need to be proud of this community.
Yeah,
we really do.
Great leadership, great emergency responders, people who care about the community. Don't have time, but I need to tell you a story about one of our emergency responders, EMS. I'll tell you next week. Remind me to tell you next week. It'll warm your heart when you hear what this emergency responder did. We've got to run. They're saying bye. They're waving bye and all that. Get out, Dan. Quit talking. It is 7:30, 71 degrees. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a great day.